control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're having a great weekend and a great night, and thanks so much for sharing it here with us here on the show. It's always a pleasure to be here with you and to bring you the best quality paranormal entertainment that we know how. So, and by we, I'm not just meaning me. I mean my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard.
And my shadow. Is my mic on? No, I didn't think so.
I remembered what I was forgetting.
Oh, thanks. You did that on purpose.
I did it earlier. Yeah, I was messing around with the sound.
Yeah.
I was messing around with sound settings, trying to figure out some of the weird crunchy artifacts we're getting, and I was messing around with the mics.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why you were muted, but you are now live.
Crunchy artifacts.
Crunchy. I don't know. How do you describe that? It's like a distorted crunch kind of sound.
It's worked just fine for me.
Yeah. So how you doing, brother?
Doing good. Got off work today, and instead of coming directly to the studio, I went and took a nap. Felt good.
That's all right. Everyone needs those. Hello, Five Hazel. Good to see you. Thanks for saying hello in the YouTube chat. Good to see all of you guys out there. It's a wonderful thing. It's it's a coming together of family. Every show is like family, and this is no different. Last night we had a good show. It was just me and you guys, and we talked a lot about cryptids. And I thought we'd just continue the theme because I had a lot of stuff pulled up, and I didn't end up getting through nearly as much as I thought I might. So we're going to dive into that again tonight. Don, you love some cryptids, don't you?
I love me some cryptids, especially when they've smoked and off the barbecue.
How long have you been on Paranormal Portal? Sorry, it's a chat question.
Oh, you're like, huh?
Dan Sishat is asking, how long have you been on Paranormal Portal? I think that's to us, and I started the show, so
He's always been on.
I created it, what can I say? But here we are, and we are here to entertain you guys, bring you all the paranormal goodness we can manage in 2 hours, which is our show tonight.
I think, actually, if you read the question more like, how long have you been on Paranormal Portal?
Oh, how long 4 years, right?
3 years.
Almost 4, right? Isn't this year 4?
17.
Year 3. You've been on 3.
18, 19, 20. Yeah, this is...
4th.
August is 3 years.
August
is the start of the
for
4th
you?
year. No.
I started in 16, so this is 20. So this is going on 4 years.
Okay, wait a minute, because I'm only thinking about the YouTube. Yes. It was April of 16 when you started. It was April of 17 when I started.
Yes, April is a very important month. Don actually put all that together. He's like, and then we started looking at pretty much every major
thing we've done
has happened in April.
The podcast started in basically April as well.
Yeah, just right before May. So it was at the end of April that we started the podcast just over a year ago as well. And make sure you guys check that out too. The podcast is not always the same show. I mean, sometimes we take really good portal episodes from YouTube and port them over to the podcast just because we've had on some amazing guests. So we bring those over to the podcast as well. But for the most part, the podcast is its own shows.
Exclusive content.
Yeah, it is exclusive content, but it is audio only, and you won't find it on YouTube. You're going to find it on Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, and Stitcher sometime in the near future. It may be actually up now on Stitcher. I don't know. I know that it was being processed, so it's a matter of time. So anyway, we're going to go back into cryptids tonight. So that's, if you're not sure what a cryptid is, that's just a short term for cryptozoological creatures, which are basically creatures that are believed to be out there but have not been established by as factual by science. So the Bigfoot, the Dogman, the Rake, the little people, the proto-pygmies. Nessie. Yeah, I mean, so many of them. There's like hundreds and hundreds of them around the face of the world. And while a lot of people scoff at that kind of stuff, just bear in mind, pandas were once cryptids.
Yeah, that's right.
Mountain gorillas were once cryptids. And, we all know those things are out there. So, and new species are being discovered all the time, officially by science. So I'm sure that at least some of these are going to pan out to be a real thing. I have no doubt that that's the case. So... but we're going to get into more of those tonight and just try to keep y'all as entertained as we know how. Let me see. I got to find my first article here because we had some really, really good long things to read. How are we doing? How much time do we have now? Okay, 20 minutes. We should be good.
We just started the show.
I know, but believe me,
we got time.
Once I start talking, I lose all track of time. Now, I got to blow up this font because it's like micro font. And that's the site I'm going to be reading from is nexusnewsfeed.com.
What?
That's what it's called, Nexus.
No, I'm reading it. Sorry, I read the headline.
Oh.
That's quite the grabby headline.
It is. It's kind of a creepy headline. And this one bothers me. And this is one that I was going to talk about last night, but we just didn't get to it.
I'm sure glad you waited for me to get here.
Yeah, well, I like to share the fun. This is kind of a dark story, and it says, Dogman attacks teen at abandoned hospital in Kentucky. An infamous abandoned hospital in Maysville, Kentucky, is the scene of an apparent attack by a dogman almost a decade ago. I recently came across the following account. I live in southern Ohio near the Ohio River. Myself and a few friends decided to go explore the abandoned hospital that backed up to a giant hill and a large forest across the river in Maysville, Kentucky. It was a local hotspot for dumb teenagers to go and scare each other and play, I can read it. I guess it's not that terrible. It says grab ass with their girlfriends.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah, well, there you go. So running into other people wasn't uncommon, but you could usually tell if other people were there because there'd be cars parked near it. Well, that being said, on this night, we were the only dumb teenagers there. The moment we got out of the car, though, everything felt wrong. We knew we weren't allowed to go there because the building was condemned, but this felt like we were actually in danger, which, of course, we always were because it was condemned. But it just felt different. Now, by this point, I'd been to Hayeswood Hospital 20 times or so, and I was familiar with the layout. Once the three of us had gotten inside, we had been there for about 45 minutes. We split up to tag some different places and explore. I went to go take pictures of the morgue in the basement and to see if I could photograph any orbs or anything really cool. Well, I'd been in the morgue for about 10 minutes when I smelled the most foul odor I've ever smelled. It was rot. And I don't know what was rotting. I imagine if it was a large dog or coyote, but all I could make out was it was about 40 pounds of rotting meat. I had just started to look at the meat chunk when I heard the slam of a steel door and what sounded like running through puddles of water. Ugh. That meant whatever it was was in the basement with me because the floor had about 3 inches of water standing in it. So naturally, I figured it was my friends playing a prank on me, and that was when I decided to get them back and scare them before they could scare me. Now, the way the morgue was set up, you could actually climb on top of the coolers. They used to store the bodies. So I hopped up there and laid in wait to scare the hell out of my friend. I'd been there for no more than a minute when I heard screaming. Now, I've known my friends my entire life, which at this point had been 19 years. I've never heard screaming like this. The screaming stopped, and I heard hard footsteps running above me and what I can best describe as pounding. Now, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't freaked out a little bit because this wasn't like my friends. It was actually hide behind a corner and jump out and go got ya. But this was different. This was dread that I was starting to feel. As I continued to lay there, about 5 minutes passed, and I heard panting and footsteps in the water. They were getting closer. And that is when I smelled wet dog. But it wasn't just a wet dog I was smelling. I was smelling the same smell of rot, too. Then another steel door slammed, and I could tell it was the same door I passed before I got to the morgue. The panting was even louder now, and honestly, it sounded more like labored breathing and sniffing. Now, at this point, I am terrified. I'm trying to slowly back away from the edge of the cooler I'm on so that I can slip behind the wall the cooler backs up to and drop into a boiler room. I'm almost to the end of the corner when I hear the morgue door slam open, break tiles on the wall with the door handle. I'm less than 35 feet from whatever is panting and smelling like death, and all I can do is think, run, run, run. I could hear the sniffling, and then I heard the deepest, most menacing growl I have ever heard. The movies and shows don't do justice to just how deep and rough a growl of this size sounds. It was sniffing me out. It was actually smelling where I had been. I dropped down behind the wall in the boiler room, and I thank God that the door that connected the morgue was blocked with old gurneys and a locker on its side, which I thought would stop this thing from getting in. I was wrong, so very wrong. I hadn't been in the boiler room more than 30 seconds before I heard the pounding and scratching on the steel door, and it sounded like Freddy Krueger was trying to carve his way through the steel door. Then I heard the sound that still haunts me to this day. It howled, and I mean, it bellowed a howl so loud I had to cover my ears. Now, on the other side of the boiler room was the access to the generator and the dock doors. Trucks used to unload and the hillside that led to the woods. When I reached the other side of the room, I could hear this thing slamming into the door and knocking the lockers away and the gurneys. I opened the door to the dock room, and when I looked back, I saw the arm of this creature sticking through the opening it had made, and it was like a horror movie. It was gray and brown mass of fur. It looked like a human arm, but it didn't because the hand was all wrong. The hand had 5 digits, but the claws would have made a bear run in fear. I slammed the door behind me and ran for the dock doors. The dock doors wouldn't budge, and I could hear the gurneys overturning and the lockers sliding on the floor. It was getting through, and the only thing between me and it now was a single door. I ran to one of the windows by the dock doors and proceeded to bust it out, which mangled my hand from the glass. And then, as I was pulling myself through the window, I heard the door get slammed into one of the hinges completely flew off the wall and hit the wall. I tumbled out the window and hit the cold, wet ground. When I stood up, I saw it in the doorway. I'm 6'4" and 250 pounds. I'm not little by any means, and this thing took up the entire doorway, an 8-foot tall, 3-foot wide door. It was covered head to toe in gray-brown fur and had a very narrow snout, almost like a Doberman pinscher, and its ears were just barely visible because of the doorway. but I could tell they were pointing up just like a dog. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was completely paralyzed. This thing was staring right into my soul. Then it snarled, and that woke me from my disbelief of what I was seeing. I turned and ran. I ran up the hill into the woods to get around the hospital and get back to the street where the car was parked. I hadn't made it 25 feet when I heard it clawing to get out of the window. I knew I'd never make it to the car this way. So I ran towards the hospital where the fire escape ladder was. I'd used the ladder before to climb up to the roof to take pictures of the entire town, and I completely skipped the first 3 rungs on the ladder and was now inside the enclosed part of the fire escape. Again, this thing howled, and I could feel waves of pure terror filling my body. My hand was killing me at this point, and I was getting blood on everything. Just as I was reaching the first floor window I could climb into, this thing slammed into the fire escape ladder, knocking me down a couple of rungs. I leaped into the outside of the fire escape and began clawing at my feet. Just as I reached the window, I felt it, pain like nothing I've ever felt. It had grabbed just above my ankle and yanked, and in doing so, shredded my boot and the end of my jeans and into my flesh. I was able to pull myself into the first floor window, and I heard it push itself off the fire escape and head back the way it came. Now I'm dragging my left leg and trying to keep my right hand in my hoodie pocket, and the entrance we came in from is only about 150 feet away, but down the main hall and around a left turn. As I'm halfway down the hall, I hear the steel doors slamming again, and I'm dragging myself down the hall just trying to stay focused on getting out of this hellhole. Then the howling starts again, and I can hear it getting closer, and I make the turn and hear the pounding coming up the stairs from the basement. Well, I make it to the entrance and hear the patting of hands and feet on the floor, and I made the mistake of looking back just as it rounded the corner and was running on all fours like a real dog. I bolted down the hill towards the street where the car was parked and realized the car was gone. They left me. My only way to escape was gone. I just zoned out and kept running down the hill. My legs was throbbing, my hand was in agony, and all I could think was I'm going to be dog kibble. But finally I made it to the first house I could find and ran full force into the door and began pounding on it like a crazy person. Thank God this little old lady was home because she opened the door, and I literally fell inside just before I kicked the door closed. Standing up on 2 legs at the end of her driveway was the monster. I broke down in tears. I didn't know what to do. Luckily, the old lady had called the cops because a crazy person who was bleeding everywhere just fell into her home. When the cops got there and asked me what had happened, I told them the same thing I've said here. Of course, they didn't believe me and thought I was on drugs. The EMTs took me to the hospital, and when they did blood work and found no substance in my system, they then concluded I was attacked by a wild dog.
Of course.
I ended up with 36 stitches in my leg and 17 in my hand. I had to get rabies shots and tell the local wildlife officer my story. He informed me that they had reports of wild dog packs running around the outside of town, ransacking garbage cans and killing some of the local pets. I informed him it was not a pack of wild dogs. It was a giant Dogman. But they just all thought I was crazy. The only thing I had in my favor was the claw mark on my leg. Even the doctors were confused how a wild dog could make a mark like that. Now you know my story, and you know why I absolutely know we were not on the top of the food chain. I've never been back to Hayeswood Hospital, and I've deterred anyone from ever going there. That experience has haunted me for the last 11 years of my life, and it's made me overcautious man that I am. I always have to know where every exit is when I walk into a building, and I always know where large clump of woods are. The experience changed me forever, and it changed the way I look at the world we live in, because we all haven't seen something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means some people haven't been hunted for their life. And I have no doubt what stalked me that night was the Dogman. I know it in my bones. Wow. How's that for a an incredible journey.
Some of the chatters are like, what happened to the friends?
Yeah, they bolted. They took the car.
Gone. The car's gone.
Yeah, this guy was on his own.
Wow.
Now, if this is true, and I can't know for sure if it is or not, but if this is true, this guy, he did something. He defied all the odds getting away from that. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Literally terrifying. Literally terrifying. How are we doing for time? We got 7 minutes. I did pretty good, right?
Sweet, yeah. Did great.
Wow. I didn't know I could make it through that fast.
Yeah, when they go to the hospital and they see these big giant claw marks, it's like, how do you say that somebody, it was you were attacked by wild dogs? Yeah. Except I have like these giant claw marks, it's like these, not just these little,
Yeah,
I mean,
they're like trenches, yeah.
Yeah, they're gouges. They're not just, I got clawed by a dog.
That was really well written, though, too. I mean, again, I can't vouch that it's absolutely true or not. I don't know. I did find a follow-up story that's from werewolves.com.
Ooh.
And it says, did a dogman kill a kid in Kentucky? I thought it was a follow-up to that story, but it sounds like it's something completely different.
Well, just recently, though, I mentioned it a couple shows ago that the 13-year-old kid was drug up the hill.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I wonder if that's related to that.
That might be related to that. We'll get to that for sure next. But, the abandoned buildings, I think, would be fantastic places for these things to hole up, these cryptids, whether it's a rake, little people, whatever. I mean, anything that doesn't... they certainly can survive in the woods, but I think that it only stands to reason that if they can get away with it, they're going to come as close to our civilization as they can because they don't have to fight to survive.
Exactly, yeah.
They could subsist on people's dogs and, small animals without any problem.
Right.
As long as they can remain undetected, I wouldn't see any reason that things like Dogman and Rake and perhaps even the little people wouldn't just come into, these decrepit old buildings and kind of hold up and just go out of there from nights, because we don't do nights,
Yeah,
we really don't. We don't see well. We don't hear well. We don't smell well. Although the smells...
Some of us just smell bad.
Yeah.
Some of us smell like sage and black pepper.
I just have I showered today.
Well, that's good for me.
Yeah, it is. Believe me, you have no idea the case that it was before that. But, no, I just think it's incredibly plausible to me. And even in the sewer systems, ladies and gentlemen, the only time we go down into our sewer systems is if something's broke,
right?
Or there's some kind of maintenance that's being done. Otherwise, we just close the lid on those deals and call it a day.
Just flush the toilet and forget it.
Yeah. I mean, I lived in the town that I lived in was called Red Wing. And I had a home there. It was where the Victorian home that I've mentioned before was. And I would sit out on my front porch all the time at night because I worked nights in the correctional facility. And I would sit out on my days off and just sit out and watch the world. And I would it would be like 2 a.m, and I could see these full-grown raccoons coming out of the sewers, down the block, doing whatever they're doing, duck into the sewers, move up to the next opening, come out of the sewer, grab things, whatever, get back in the sewer, and there was like a network. It was like a network, and these are raccoons.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
Yeah, they're plenty smart, but they're not it's not like just mice. They are not normally seen in, urban areas, but I think they're there. I think they're there just as commonly as, well, hell, coyotes are everywhere now.
Yep.
They're finding them in Chicago. They've had Chicago's had issues with coyotes running around.
Chicago's had issues.
Well, yeah. There's a whole laundry list of what Chicago's dealt with, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a very metropolitan developed area, and yet they've got coyotes, perhaps even packs of them living in the city limits. And and you know what I always think is, if you start seeing signs for lost pets and lots of them, that might be a good indication you got something wild living in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because I mean, really, our domestic animals aren't much, they're not much, other than a big dog. But most of the domesticated pets we have are not much, in challenging a wild animal like a raccoon. Even though they're much smaller than most dogs,
Right.
they'll shred dogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are no kidding.
They don't play around. They don't play.
Yeah, they are absolute brutes. And I lived with a raccoon that ended up chewing up my hand one time. That was a lot of fun. This was allegedly domesticated.
Yeah, they're not ever domesticated.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I found that out. He grabbed onto me like he was a mitten with teeth, and he started chewing on my fingers. I was like, "Arr." And the funny thing about raccoons is they can treat your arm just like a tree branch, and they don't come off real easy.
No,
I found that out too.
but I tell you, I know one thing about raccoons. When they fall out of trees and hit the ground, they scare the crap out of you.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You've had them dive off?
Yeah, I've had like
it's American drop bears.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Our version of a drop bear.
It was American drop bears. Yeah. I've never seen them come out of a tree unless, like falling down. I've seen them.
Yeah, I've seen them knock each other down. It's funny.
God.
It's fun to watch. It's hell to hear it like at 11 o'clock at night, pitch black,
Right. Yeah.
Oh God.
You know what was the worst thing though? I gotta say, and this is actually, I'm sure there was feral cats in the town as well, and in the springtime when they started mating.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those things sound horrible. I had a pair that kept meeting right outside of my window. It's just this Hollywood or this Halloween kind of noise, and it's the most haunting
So
thing.
it doesn't go brown chicken, brown can.
No, no. It sounds like someone's dragging the intestines out of the thing. It's just like, what the hell? They are all kinds of noisy when they're getting busy. So I didn't know that, but I learned that. But yeah, there you go. Oh, that's a little more information than you probably wanted, but that's free here on the show. So I tell you what, we're going to go to our first break here in just a matter of minutes, but make sure you stick around following the portal on TFR iHeart. Tune in and TalkStream Live because Paisley Wild's coming up next with the spaces
Sure
between.
is.
Do you know what she's doing tonight?
Yeah, she's got Mr. Carlton from Pharmacy Seeds on again tonight.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, yeah, he was on last night, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yep, busy night for Carlton, too.
Yeah.
Good job, Carlton. Good job.
That's the way to get famous.
There's the bell.
I don't know if we're famous, but whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Real Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So we're into the second half hour. If you're new to the show and you're listening on YouTube,
We're sorry.
well, yeah, this is about as good as it gets. So lower your expectations a bit. But no, we have to do the commercial breaks because we're also simulcasting on TFR Live, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live networks, and there are breaks every half hour there. So in order to accommodate that here on the portal, I created those big video segments that you guys can watch, or just so you don't have to listen to commercials. But it just keeps everything in sync. So that's why they happen. I get that question about once a week, so I just keep throwing it out there. But it's only on the Friday, Saturday night shows because the other nights we're not broadcasting on the network. So we don't have to take breaks then.
We don't gotta.
We sometimes do anyway, but other than that, no. So we are going through a night of cryptids again. This is kind of a follow-up from last night. There was just so much to work through and last night and some great call-ins, so we didn't get all of it, but we just read a story about a teen that was attacked. A dogman attacks teen at abandoned hospital in Kentucky. Now, I found a follow-up story. I thought it was for this, but it may very well be something completely different. As Don pointed out, there's a story recently of a 13-year-old kid being mauled by some kind of animal that drug the child through the forest after it killed him. And yeah, it's really horribly sad. So this is probably a follow-up to that, but I don't know when it's dated. But I'm going to read that now, and it's a very short follow-up. It's coming from werewolves.com. And it's, did a dogman kill a kid in Kentucky? It says, I'm seeing lots about this incident. Now, it is hyperlinked, so let me open it and see when it says.
Yep, that's the one.
That's the one, yeah. Boy killed in an animal attack.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, so that's the one. But it says, I'm seeing a lot about this incident on the cryptid forums of ye trusty old social media. Some are claiming it as proof not only of the existence of dogman type entities, but that said entities are out to eat us. Well, this springs from the fact that there has up to this point of this report been confusion as regards to the attack itself. Authorities have said only that the boy, 13-year-old Corey Joseph Godsey, poor kid, bless his heart, was killed in a canine type creature.
Canine type.
Yeah, which is, weird, huh? This lack of solid identification of the animal, as well as the fact that the boy's body was dragged some ways uphill, has been fodder for many imaginations. The less imaginative have offered the more prosaic explanation of a pack of coyotes. If I had put money on it, I would bet against a dogman. There's lots of reported incidents of people being scared by dogmen during the encounters, and sometimes of being chased by them, but you'd be hard-pressed to find any accounts of people being killed by one. Well, it's because they don't live to make the reports.
Hey, let me tell you about this time this dogman killed me.
Yeah, boy, let me tell you, that was no fun. I go better. Unless all the victims were simply never found, we must allow. I also doubt that a pack of coyotes did it. Coyotes, even in a pack, are skittish by nature. As bears and mountain lions have been ruled out, I'd bet on wild dogs. Wild dogs don't have the instinctive fear of humans that coyotes have, and they'd have no problem working together to drag the body uphill. In all the speculation over the case of death, we don't want to overlook the tragedy experienced by the victim's family. We at this site offer our condolences to his friends and loved ones. Yeah, that's horrible. That's those are valid points, and they should be considered. I think it's very premature to say, well, it's a dogman. It's got to be a dogman, but it's also very disturbing that they haven't identified the breed of this canine animal, and I find that to be really suspect. So it's probably not at the point where I would say, yeah, it's probably a dogman too, but at the same point, that's really weird.
Right.
Because they usually can line up the bite marks, figure out basically what size of dog, and maybe even the breed just by the bite marks. But then you look into possible saliva samples and stuff like that.
Right.
They should probably be able to identify.
Well, that's like
what kind of dog did it.
So there was also, let me see here. When did this happen? This happened in North Carolina. This is August 6, 2019, but it was 6 months ago from that. So that would be what? May of 2019. A teacher is reported, a North Carolina teacher was reported mauled to death by a canine type creature.
Right.
And nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
But they have DNA. How can you not? If you can send a swab of your dog's mouth to a vet, and the vet can tell you what breed it is.
Yeah.
Why can't they figure out what's killing these people?
Good point. That's a great point. I didn't know vets could do that. They can do that?
Yeah, well, they mostly they do a blood test, so you take them in, but still, the point is it's DNA.
Right.
They don't. Oh well, he's AB positive. Nobody gives a crap about that. They're looking at the DNA.
Right.
So if you've got DNA from the teacher, you've got DNA from the 13-year-old kid. Why can't they tell what breed of dog it was? They can tell if it's a coyote, a wolf. They can even tell what specific strains. So it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it is weird that they're just saying a canine type creature, because that's so many things and none at the same time. It's a lot of things and none of them at the same time. So I find that really peculiar. But this is, the boy. Let's see what this is coming from WYMT.com.
Yeah, that's their local news channel.
Right. They're talking about the funeral arrangements being made. When was this? I wish they'd date these articles or something. Jeez.
There's a date on there.
Where? Thursday at 9:30. What Thursday, though? Okay. This one? The one that just happened?
Because I was just looking at that one, too.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, that was in February, by the way.
Oh, it was in February.
Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't a couple weeks ago. It was in February. I probably mentioned it in February, too. Maybe it was a little early March. I think it was February 21st.
So they said Kentucky State Police are continuing the investigation into what killed a 13-year-old Knott County boy. With the result of what happened to this child yesterday, that's as bad as it can get, said Jody Sims with the Kentucky State Police. Officials say the initial cause of death is being ruled as the result of an animal attack. Their initial determination was that this was caused by injuries consistent with an animal attack. Yeah, they just said that. Officials say the boy was staying at a relative's house but was not new to the area. Officials say that while it is being ruled an animal attack, they still don't know what killed the boy. However, at this point, there is no way they can determine what the animal was. There are still questions as to what animal it may have been. Officials are not releasing the boy's name while they wait. Well, they just did, because they did the funeral arrangement. So this is obviously an update, or that the funeral is updated information. However, this is not suspected to be anything other than a terrible accident.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything's a terrible accident when it ends somebody's life, but was this something looking to hurt people? I think they should be, I mean, there should have been tracks around the body or something. How long was the body there before they found it? They said they released more information about what they believe was an animal attack in Knott County. Troopers say the victim in the deadly attack was a 13-year-old boy. They haven't released the name yet, blah, blah, blah. Knott County School Superintendent Kim King said the boy was homeschooled. Police say the original call described a canine-type animal. So this was reported while it happened? The state medical examiner's office said the cause of death was consistent with an animal attack, but have not determined the exact type of animal. Troopers say the area should remain hyper-vigilant, especially at night, but there is no immediate threat to the community. Well, how do you know that? You don't even know what killed him. How can you say there's no danger?
That's what I'm saying.
That's a bold statement to make.
That's what I'm saying.
Something happened in this community in Knott County, and we just urge people to be very cognizant of their surroundings. Be careful about the things you have around your home. Be careful of any type of potential food source for a wild animal. Secure those in garbage cans, containers, whatever you have to do to not even put them out. Because, yep, we love us some stinky garbage.
Yeah, we're just baiting those wild dogmen. I mean, canines.
Yeah, there's just no information here. They're just not saying anything. But I think that's horribly irresponsible to say there's no immediate threat. Well, hell yeah, there is.
They're going out of their way to say nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah, there's a lot of threat. There's a real problem there because a boy got killed.
Right.
And they don't know what did it, so that makes it even bigger threat. You know, if it was a pack of chihuahuas, okay, so you look for a pack of chihuahuas. You know, I mean, that's what.
As unscary as that may be.
Yeah, I know, but it's like at least then you can aim your.
Hey man, you took our tacos, man.
Man, yo quiero Taco Bell. Yeah, sorry, I love all nationalities.
You us now.
But
yes, we love all strains of canine.
Yep, all strains of canines are loved in this show.
We're all canines, bro.
Yep. But yeah, I think it's incredibly irresponsible to say they not to be afraid, but we don't know what the hell did it.
Right.
How do you know?
Right.
What if it's a freaking lion, or I don't know, a tiger got away from somewhere. A lot of people have these tigers as pets.
Yeah, Joe Exotic.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Joe. I've never watched that, by the way.
Neither have I.
Yeah, nor am I likely to. But,
I swear I've never seen it.
But we had back in Minnesota, we had a person that lived probably about 4 or 5 miles as the crow flies from our house, and they had 2 Siberian tigers. And whenever there was roadkill or whatever, they the troopers, the state police would bring over the roadkill for the tigers.
Right.
And it was fine and dandy until one day she had this helper that always helped her, just was helping her take care of the cages and take care of the tigers, and suddenly that was just the wrong day, and one of the tigers mauled the woman to death, and so that was the end of the tigers being there. But the point being, if is someone else keeping wild animals that are as pets, and did one get away? Is it possibly one of these dogmen or something else? I don't know.
Welcome to the Isle of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, really. It's very strange, but they're not saying what it is, but they're telling you, but don't be afraid. It's okay. No, it's not okay. They should be prints that could check for what dragged this kid. There should be prints if something dragged this kid, because that's, any quadrupedal canine is not going to be able to carry a 13-year-old boy up a hill.
No.
They would have to drag a boy up the hill. If it dragged a boy up a hill, there should be some pretty significant pressure tracks. They should be able to tell how big is it. What kind of animal we're probably looking at.
Unless it's walking on 2 legs.
Right. Unless it did lift the boy and carry it up the hill, and then for whatever reason dropped him. But thank God it did, because it's horrible enough to lose a child, but it's another thing altogether to think that something ate that person.
Yeah.
That's horrifying. So I don't know. Yeah. That's really disturbing that they don't have any answers for that still. That's really disturbing. So.
Well, and as far as I know, they haven't come up with a real reason about the North Carolina teacher either. Right. It does say for that one, this was oddly enough, it was February of 19 for the teacher. Uh-huh. It says DNA samples taken from 14 dogs in the area of the attack, as dog DNA was found on the victim's outer jacket and her shoe. It matched 2 of the dogs that were found near the woman that day. It says the local lab located the mitochondrial DNA on a swab from Hamilton's ear. That's the name of the teacher, Ms. Hamilton. Okay. A swab from her scalp, a flashlight she carried in her hand, a hooded sweatshirt, a T-shirt, and a Dead nutria? What's a dead nutria?
Nutria.
Dead nutria, which was found nearby.
That's a kind of a rat, isn't it? One of those big rats.
Oh, is
nutria?
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Deputies say the DNA likely came from one of the two smaller. Deputies say the DNA likely came from one of the same two dogs. However, mitochondrial DNA, which comes from the mother, is non-discriminating, and a match to a specific dog could not be made.
Well,
so here we go again.
Yeah.
After the completion of all tests and review of the scientific and circumstantial evidence in this case, we are unable to make a definitive determination as to what type of canine attacked Brenda Hamilton. While the DNA evidence brings the two domestic canines under suspicion, the observation by those two canines by deputies, animal control officers, and investigators tell a different story. So it's not like these two domesticated dogs attacked the woman. They were walking with her. Apparently she walked with like this pack of local dogs.
Oh, okay.
Domestic, family dogs. They they get let out in the morning, I'll go outside, and they all go. Apparently they went and walked with her. But it's two of them had blood on their paws and blood in their mouth. Well, that's what happens when a dog licks their paw because it's got sticky stuff on it. It gets in their mouth.
Yeah.
So anyhow.
Well, that's strange stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah.
And the wounds were so bad that they would not describe them.
Wow.
And that's what it says. The wounds were so gory, we can't describe them. A domestic dog, okay. No, there are domestic dogs that will tear you apart. However, the dogs that she was with were not those kind of dogs.
Yeah. I don't know. That's really troubling.
And honestly, a pack of chihuahuas would be like scary to me, like a pack of piranha.
I know. It's like,
really, honestly.
Yeah. Alone they're a nuisance. Together they're lethal.
It reminds me of the Valley of the Dolls.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. I don't know, but it's very strange, ladies and gentlemen. These two people were murdered by some kind of canine, not in the same area, but still, there's something weird going on that they don't even have an indication. Like we're looking at German Shepherd or Rottweiler breed or whatever. I mean, it's not like that.
Yeah, they didn't even give it may be a pincher cross,
right?
Adobe cross.
And then at that point, they did test 10 dogs they said in the area.
Yeah, 24,
and we're not unable to make a match.
Right.
And so I don't know. Hey, Brent, what are your paranormal experiences? Hey, Dan, to hear mine, you'd have to go through several different shows. I've been a guest on many different shows. I've talked about them here on the show as well, but I've had a ton of them. I guess the most recent show, probably, which one was the most recent that I was on?
Well, you just did Adam and Jake's Blue Line Bigfoot.
I did Blue Line Bigfoot. They have a channel on YouTube that I talked about some of my experiences. I did Hidden Existence with our friend Daniela, and talked about my experiences there. I did a interview with Sasquatch Chronicles with Wes, and Wes asked me about my experiences. So you can always look for that one. I don't know which one it is, but
it's like 590.
Is it really?
I'll find it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, so there's places all over. And plus on our own show here, I've done it, talked about my experiences many, many times. And I think I did one show where I talked about all of them. I thought it was In My Shoes. I think it was a Bedtime Stories from Beyond, Walking in My Shoes or something, where I talked about my own experiences. So there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But yeah, I guess Don will post the link to the Sasquatch Chronicles episode. I think when I was on Duke's show, we just talked about Bigfoot. I don't think we talked so much about my experiences, so you wouldn't find it on Bigfoot Radio, World Bigfoot Radio. But yeah, I've been on a lot of shows talking about my own stuff, and including here. But thank you for asking. So we'll get it sorted and find out which one it is and send you a link into the chat. But I got another story here. This is coming from Week in Weird, and this is the site that Greg and Dana Newkirk have run for a number of years. It's a great site. They're obviously, if you're not familiar with Greg and Dana Newkirk, you should get familiar with them. They've been doing a series lately. They've gone through two seasons of this show that they put together on YouTube called Hellyer, Hellier. And it's a real cool series of shows where they get this strange email out of nowhere having to do with goblins in Kentucky, and they start following the trail, and it just gets bizarre and wild, and it's really well done. So I would recommend, if you haven't seen it, go check out Hellyer on YouTube, Hellier. And again, it's run by Greg and Dana Newkirk and some other people. There's other people involved in the project too, including John Tenney was involved in that as well. So some great stuff, but definitely check it out. They do a fantastic job, and they've been on a lot of different paranormal shows as well through the years.
Saskron episode 527, the Paranormal Portal.
Okay, so episode 527 on the Sasquatch Chronicles, Dan, is where you can find it. But thanks for asking, and I hope you check it out. Let me know what you think. So let's read this. This is Week in Weird Witness Reports Dogman Attack. And let's see, when was this dated? Okay, so this is from 2016. It's from June 10th, 2016. Again, on weekinweird.com. And it says, let me blow this one up a little bit, because it's small. There we go. A new report made its way to us from southern New York, where a man writes in to tell us that he and his fellow campers were attacked by a group of large, hairy, dog-like creatures. As if it wasn't strange enough, he says that his terrifying brush with the beast comes after a possible encounter with a UFO. So, as usual, he's edited for grammar. But in this case, I've also redacted the exact location until they could check it out to investigate the area themselves.
Who is this again?
This is the Newkirks.
Oh.
Greg and Dana from Week in Weird.
Okay.
And again, it's from 2016, so I'm sure they probably had checked it out, and I don't know if they did a follow-up to it or not, but it says, I saw you on Finding Bigfoot. Oh, yeah, they were on Finding Bigfoot, I guess, too. And I know you like investigating weird stuff, so I thought about you when something weird happened to me last week. Me and two friends decided to go camping in southern New York up on a mountain, and there was a dirt road that runs right down the mountain, and then off of it are a lot of smaller off-road tracks that have some good camping spots. I don't know if you're really supposed to be camping there or not, but there's a lot of fire pits, so people do it anyway. Anyway, we set up our tent and get a fire going, having a couple beers, and are complaining about our women, and the sun goes down. Well, we all looked at each other because the woods got real quiet. You couldn't even hear crickets. Everything just went dead quiet. It felt like there was a lightning storm coming because you could feel the static in the air, and all the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and Jamie started saying that he felt like the air was humming. And then all of a sudden there was a real deep bass noise and this bright light in the distance that flashed up and lit up the whole woods. It looked like the light when a real big firework explodes, and for the first few seconds, but it lasted for probably a minute before it split up into 3 or 4 other lights and shot back down into the trees. We could see all the lights glowing out in the woods, and there was a big gust of wind, and it was gone. Everything smelled like it had just rained, but it never actually had. We didn't know what to do, but figured we'd just wait it out, but nothing happened. We thought maybe it could have been a meteor or something, so we left it alone and went back to complaining about our women. And about 2 a.m, we decided to turn in, so Jamie and I went to sleep in the tent, but Dan said he was going to sleep by the fire. An hour later, I wake up because Dan is in the tent shaking us, saying there's something big watching the camp. He said it was about 50 feet from the fire, and he thought that it might be a bear, but it was standing up on 2 legs and bobbing back and forth like it was trying to get a better look at him. While he was talking, we heard a loud scream. I've never heard anything like it before as long as I've been alive. It sounded like a pig being slaughtered, but deeper, and so loud it made your ears ring. The next thing I remember was hearing 3 or 4 more things coming toward the campsite and the embers from the fire being kicked up and landing on the tent. The things or creatures or whatever they were kept running up to the tent and grunting and running back to the woods. And every once in a while, one of them would scream again and pull on one of the tent poles, dragging the whole tent a foot or two. The tent was collapsing on one side and we didn't know what else to do, so we just started screaming as loud as we could. It only took a minute and then everything was quiet again. So we made a run for the truck as fast as we could and hit the gas. When we were leaving, we saw one of those things in the headlights standing in the road. I told Jamie to gun it, and and the thing straightened up and puffed out its chest, and it must have been 8 feet tall, had dark gray hair all over its body except the front. That hair was white and yellow around the chest, and its face looked like a dog, but not really. I know what Bigfoot looks like, and this was way different. It didn't even move when we drove at it. We had to swerve around it or it would have run it right over. And we drove back down the mountain to the highway and parked the truck in a gas company parking lot. We were going to go tell the cops what had happened, but we didn't know if we were camping somewhere we shouldn't have been. And we'd been drinking all night and can't afford a DUI, so we just waited for the sun to come up and sobered up. When we drove back up to get our stuff, there wasn't anything there. Everything was gone. No tent, no cooler, nothing. We told some of our friends what happened, and they won't believe us since we'd been drinking, so we just decided to forget about it. Well, there you have it. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour break. The hour break is upon us. Don't go away, everybody. We'll be right back.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, flipping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking all the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not wrong, you get.
Carolina's not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force, it is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hour number 2 is upon us here on the Paranormal Portal. Don, you doing okay?
Doing good. Last hour already. Wow, second half of the show. Wow.
The top of the second hour. Here we are.
Yes.
It's going quick, obviously. It doesn't take long. Yeah. Well, I don't know. You guys in the chat room are cracking me up. I don't think I have a celeb crush. I really don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's lots of beautiful women out there, but I don't know. I've never thought, I'd like to land that one. I guess it sounds probably
It's
bad.
not a matter of it
not.
is kind of a matter of landing.
Well, it's it's not a physical thing, obviously, because of course, people in Hollywood are generally very, very incredibly beautiful, but I don't know. It's just like once you start hearing about Hollywood and all of the garbage and
really get turned off.
Yeah, I mean it's just so odd, and that's, I guess, for me. I don't know. I like to connect with people on a very emotional level, and physical beauty, of course, is important, but it's not the entire criteria.
Yeah, it's not the whole thing. Yeah.
I don't know that I have one though, but I don't know. Maybe that makes me weird, but I'm just being honest. I really don't know. But anyway, just my 2 cents. So I gotta apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I've actually read that last story before on the show. I thought it sounded familiar about halfway through it, and Don and I were talking over the break. He's like, "Yeah, you've covered that one." I was like, "Yeah, I thought so." So I apologize, but it's appropriate for the content, but I don't ever mean to recycle things on the shows. But sometimes you just, I don't know. After doing how many thousands of shows?
Oh
Don,
gosh,
right?
We literally have done over 1,000 shows.
Yeah.
YouTube, podcast, everything. Yeah.
Yep.
We are at 1,000 shows.
So I guess it's I will stumble over some repeat performances, not on purpose, but just because I don't know. Even then, I do rely on
that an encore, Brent.
It's an encore.
It's an encore.
Yeah, I rely on my browser a lot of times to be, that link's been hit, but every time you delete the cookies, of course, then that's all gone too. So
you never delete the cookies.
I rarely do, honestly, because this is literally the show computer. This is just for the show, so I don't really do too much as far as a lot of things that maybe I should do, but I don't know. It's working so far. Crossing my fingers. It works today. But anyway, that story has been read before. It's still very interesting. I don't know, is there the same correlation people make between UFOs and Dogmen as well? I have heard that reference before, but I don't know. I don't know that both of these beings are from interstellar space or not. I don't know, but it's very strange. I don't know. I just assume that if these things are out in the woods, being out in the woods, I would think after a while would get a little boring. And so if lights come around they're probably just as interested as we are in them.
Right.
And they get fascinated and drawn in by it. And maybe it just happened to be in the location of these campers. So if these things were in the neighborhood, they're like, hey, but yeah, that thing's gone, but check it out. There's a campfire. Let's go check it out. Let's go see what the naked people are up to, the bald ones or whatever they call us. Yeah. So I'm sure that could very well lure them in. I'm not saying that they can't be extraterrestrial. I just don't know. It seems like a fantastical assumption to make to me, because I don't know that there's anywhere near enough information to make that correlation. To me, it's mostly circumstantial, I guess, but I haven't seen this. So I've heard stories that sound pretty compelling, that maybe they do have an extraterrestrial origin or involved with these extraterrestrial beings in some way. It may be possible. I'm not saying it isn't, but just for me personally, I haven't gotten to that point yet that I'm going, yep, I believe they're from space.
Well, and as you've talked about before, people ask, is Squatch and Dogman, are they extra dimensional? Are they extraterrestrial? Are they, and like you've said many times, it's like you thought at one time you had a pretty good handle on that these were natural creatures from the earth, but yet we talked to people after person after person after person, about the quantum idea, or the dimensional shiftings,
right?
And really, honestly, it's like who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, who knows until it's pinned down?
Yep. Until they get out and start interviewing or letting us give them interviews, we're just not going to know.
Mr. Patty, so can I ask you a question today?
Mr. Patty?
Are you from? Well, sure. There's got to be a Mr. Patty.
Maybe they don't
Mrs.
get married.
Mrs. Patty apparently had a child with her that day. Maybe.
Well, God.
So there's got to be a
you
Mr.
start
Patty.
listening. You start listening to some of that stuff, and it's like, oh my God, it's the same 1 minute of film. People have been redefining it for
70
decades. Yeah, it's like, really? No, what? You saw them playing Jenga in the background. Oh, well, that adds a lot.
They're playing beer pong back there. I bet you can't eat it off that tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, Patty lost. She's got to do the walk of shame.
That means you actually have to be caught on camera.
Yep, she's got to be filmed. That's part of the deal.
Yep.
So, I'm not trying to get involved in all of that, because I know there's a lot of very passionate people about that. But I think personally, it's a lot of fluff. But again, I don't know. I can't know. So
The walk of shame.
she's got to do the walk of shame. She lost. Yeah, there you have it.
Oh, that was good.
Well, thanks. I'm here all night.
Goodness.
But let's continue.
You get the short straw. Take off the dress, Patty. Start to walk.
Yeah. Oh, that just got creepy, didn't it? You just went full creepy with that, brother.
That's part of my job.
It is. Yeah, it is. Half human, half dog, 7-foot beast leaves man terrified after savaging his pet.
Oh, see?
Now, this is that video that came out a while ago, and I don't know. I think that's a big timber wolf or something. I don't think it's...
Yeah, people are like, it's a dire wolf.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a good-sized wolf, but they get big. I mean... A real big wolf is huge. They're not like a domestic dog.
250, 300 pounds.
Yeah, and I'll put it up on screen. Now, this has come from the Daily Star, so I don't know. That's out of the UK. I don't know if that's one of their rag magazines or what. I just don't know.
Check page 7.
Yeah. Is that the one that they have the page 7 thing?
It's no, that's I can't remember which one is, but yeah.
Yeah, well, there you have it. But I'm going to put it up on screen so you guys can see. This is, oh, God, look at this. I got this on the side. What the hell? Why do I have a bra ad over here? I'm not
shame, Brent.
I'm not currently shopping for bras, just for the record. I did not look for a bra. This is the video they're talking about. Oh, they're good. It cycled, thank God. But here's the video they're talking about. Many of you guys have seen this. I don't think that this is a beast. It's just a wolf. Now, wolves are much bigger than domestic dogs. They are huge. I mean, they are literally huge animals. They are so much bigger than domestic dogs. They're like the size of Great Danes, except that, they're not just spindly like that. They're very solid animals. So, but this is the one they're talking about. And basically the idea is behind the camera, you hear its owner shouting, "Hey, hey, hey," as the dog begins to panic. Now, they're also saying that the thing grabbed a hold of the dog, and I didn't see that when I watched this.
Either.
It just kind of runs off. It's like playing coy, and then the dog gets close and it springs into action going after it. But I don't think it got the dog, but they're kind of saying here, look how small it makes itself, then explodes on the dog in a blink of an eye. Definitely a Dogman. Really? Nah, that's not a Dogman. I just think it's a really good sized wolf. I don't think this is Dogman related at all, but I just wanted to share that with you. I ran across that.
I don't know how to pronounce this chatter's name, and I apologize, so I'm not even going to try. But he says Daily Star has been known to run some very questionable content, entertaining but not necessarily reliable.
Oh.
Really, it's like the National Enquirer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like the hot sheets.
All right, gotcha.
The hot sheets.
Yeah, except for our hot sheets are the singular 40.
That's true.
But the hot sheets, of course, from Men in Black were the rags. That's right. Google isn't listening to Brent so much, Justin. Yeah, I'm not currently looking for bras, so I don't know why I got that ad, but just sure glad I could have it pop up in time to show you guys.
They saw it too.
I know, of course they did.
It was like, woohoo.
Yep, there you go, guys. All this and entertaining as well. You know, what more could you ask?
Okay, just call me Nash. Okay. Oh, call her Nash. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know it. It looked like, can I play? No, I can't play the video. Sorry, guys, because I'll get a copyright strike.
Well, send me the link.
I closed it.
You closed it, so.
But if you just look at YouTube for Wolf Attacks Dog, and you're going to see that same footage. It never actually gets a hold of the dog. It just looks like it's trying to be coy and drawing it in. But no, I think it's it's just what it is. It's a big wolf somebody happened upon, and they will put an end to a domestic dog in a hurry, though.
Oh yes, in a quick hurry.
Very, very quickly. This one's coming from ilovewerewolves.com, and I don't know. It says mystery wolfman attacks in Defiance, Ohio. Ohio.
What? How did you get Idaho out of that?
It's where I live. Do you think dire wolves could still exist? Yeah, I think it's possible. I don't know what is the genetic distinction of a dire wolf versus the wolf species that we have. I think it's more of a primal version of wolf. It might have been an earlier ancestor kind of thing. And I believe it's possible. It's surprising how many extinct animals are resurfacing now. And so it wouldn't surprise me much if there was the short-faced bear is still around, because there's some monster bears reported out of Alaska that people are saying are way bigger than normal Kodiak and grizzly. And so it wouldn't surprise me if there were dire wolves out there too.
Right, yeah.
I just would never close the book on anything, because it's kind of like in Jurassic Park where they say, life finds a way.
Right.
And I think that it does. I think that a lot of things are still out there, but they just learned really well to stay away from us, because, we're not usually good for anything else in the natural world as a matter of
gotcha.
A rule of thumb.
Right. Yeah, and so yeah, absolutely. I don't know where the hell I was going with that, but anyhow.
Well, there you go. Did you find it, the video?
No, I kind of gave up because I was like, what?
Well, just look for Wolf Attacks Dog, and you'll see the video. It's just you'll recognize those pictures in the footage. It's just a black wolf looking real coy, and a guy with a white dog are walking near, and the dog gets all brave and starts barking at the wolf and starts charging it, and the wolf lays down meek like, and then suddenly just springs up and goes after the dog.
Right.
And it's a big wolf. I mean, it is. It would.
Big. Cha-Cha was talking about him. Cha-Cha.
Yeah. Cha-Cha was talking about what?
Was talking about it when
the video?
we had Robin Moonshadow on one time previously.
Oh, sure. Yep.
And was talking about that. So, yep, that was making its rounds through the portal a long time ago.
Yes, indeed. Yep. So there you go. Came in to wave and say hi. Love you, blessed Portal people. We love you too, Thomas Lynch. I hope you can stick around. If you can't, be sure to watch a replay. And make sure you like and subscribe before you leave.
Man. Oh, Gnome Squatch. That's no good. That's like, Speedos. Next ad to pop up will be a Mankini.
What the hell's that?
A Mankini.
Oh, God, no.
The thing that you put over and it comes down and it's got the pouch.
Oh, no. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, it's a thing.
Oh, I've heard of mantyhose, but I've never heard of a mankini. God. Oh, I need a vacation. Speaking of vacations, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward this next week, I'm going to take Mondays and Tuesdays off. So we've moved down to one podcast a week, although this next week there's going to be 2 of them. But you'll find out why. Because basically part 2 is on. It's a 2-part episode, so we're going to release them a couple days apart. So the first one will come out on Sunday, but I'm taking Monday and Tuesday off. I've got a lot of things to take care of. I'm falling behind on a lot of development stuff that I want to do for the show. And quite honestly, I need a break. So just so you know, don't look for live shows on Monday or Tuesday. But I guarantee probably not many of you have watched all 700 and some shows that are in our YouTube archives. So there should be something new in there for you if you haven't already seen it. There's lots of shows in there. There's a ton. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have nightmares. Yeah, from Mankinis. Hell yeah. I don't want to think about stuff like that. I saw this one picture. Some guys had these they look like eye patches, and that was about it. And one strap from front to back. It was like an eye patch.
Yeah, so I don't know how they managed that.
I don't either. That's that still disturbs me.
Package.
It's like, why even bother? What? I don't understand. I just don't understand. Okay, I'm confused. These people frightened confuse me.
It's like was it Romeo and Juliet, the gnome that with the red hat and the red thing?
Yeah,
that's a Mankini.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, great.
I'm sure you can find it.
No.
That one. There's got to be one of that big husky, that big chunky guy dancing around in those videos. God. I'm sure he's got one with the Mankini.
Yeah, that guy can move though, right?
Sure. Oh yeah, he can.
That dude can move. I was like, he's in a Speedo just rocking it. And I'm like, oh my God, that dude's moving.
I'm sure you can find one of him in a Mankini.
No, I'm not looking. I'm never looking. But
not a Monchichi, a Mankini.
So thank you guys for understanding. But yeah, I need a couple days.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
Every week just to get focused on development so much more. So I really want the portal to move forward, and it's hard to do when I'm just constantly having to put out shows, and I love doing the shows, and I'm going to miss doing shows those nights, but it's really going to be important to continue to move our development forward and get into some new projects that I want to have us do on the portal. So, and one of which is the thing that I teased about the other night when I talked about some really great interactive stuff that I'm planning. So all of that stuff is in development, but I need time to do it. So Mondays and Tuesdays going forward, there'll be no live shows on YouTube, but just check out the archives if you need a portal fix, and definitely make sure that you're getting the podcast
as well.
Yes, please, and let people know. We'd love for you to let people know. And I may end up taking out more shows at another point in the week, or at least maybe one more. But I don't know. I'm not quite sure yet. It might be a Wednesday show. It might be a Thursday show. I don't know. We'll just see how this goes. But we'll just keep doing it. But anyway, I just wanted you to know. So going forward, I wanted to announce that officially because that will change, of course, your expectations, I suppose. And I apologize that I have to do it. So this is Defiance, Ohio, and it says, oh man, Don, gray font on a white background.
I know. Aren't they just awesome?
Why do people do that?
Because it's...
I don't want anybody to read my site ever. You clowns. All right, let's check this out. Unsolved mystery. Wolfman attacks in Defiance, Ohio again.
He did it again.
Now, this is coming from ilovewerewolves.com.
Right.
It says, the sighting of a creature that eventually came to be called the Wolfman of Defiance has become a popular legend in Ohio, The sighting and related events were documented by local newspapers in August of 1972. According to news reports, there were at least 3 separate incidents of townspeople being attacked in the dead of the night during the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. What made these incidents particularly curious is that the assailant was described to police as someone with some kind of animal head. With this information, local police began searching for what was described as a wolfman. Despite the police investigation, the attacks continued, with several people calling in their sightings and describing a wolfman and something very hairy, and some even describing it as a beast. One witness claimed they saw fangs, while most of the sightings described the creature as wearing jeans or dark-colored clothing. There's much speculation over what exactly the creature was. Many of the eyewitnesses insist that the creature was a werewolf. They described a beast that was clearly not human and somewhat aggressive. Police, however, took a more logical approach and speculated the attacks and the sightings may have been a local townsperson wearing a mask. The witnesses, however, do not believe this. Some citing that the creature even had hairy feet and was like 7 to 9 feet tall. That's a hell of a mask. That's like Jim Carrey's mask.
That'd be like a giant hobbit.
Yeah, that's horrible. Although the sightings persisted and police continued their investigation, the creature was never caught and the case was eventually closed.
Of course.
So where did it go? That's the weird part. Where did it go? Now, that's another report also that suggests maybe some people saw it with clothing on, which to me sounds like a Skinwalker kind of thing, right? Or something that's transforming, you know? Mm-hmm. Now, the weird thing is I think those are really out there, ladies and gentlemen. I think there are things that live among us that look like people, but may not actually be people. They may be able to be something completely different, but they may be able to mimic us enough to pull off being a person. I've talked to so many people that have looked into the eyes of people that they've met and seen these weird flashes of light or weird pupils appear and then disappear quickly. Could that be hallucination? Sure. But could it be real? Maybe. Maybe it could be. But so many people talk of looking at people and suddenly their eyes will just go completely black.
Right.
Completely black. Like not even the sclera, the white sclera is visible. Now, I know some people can dilate their pupils. They can just do it like moving a muscle. They can make their pupils open and close. It's a very rare thing, but it has, I've seen that. So it's not unheard of. But you can't do it to the point that the white disappears from your eyes.
Right.
Nobody can open their pupil that big. That's just not physically possible with the structure of our eyes. So what the hell's going on there? Now, there's a new thing now where people are tattooing their sclera, so it's dark.
Oh, God, that's so stupid.
Right. And that is possible that some people have just witnessed people that have done that. But I don't know that explains all of them. We've seen people, I've talked to people who have seen people's eyes flash red, have flashed black.
Right.
Different witnesses, different people. I've read accounts of people seeing people's eyes go gold. So it's very, very strange, very, very odd. So is it possible there is some kind of being that is able to transform? First Nations legends of shamans and stuff have long talked about people transforming into different animals. Mm-hmm. They can transform into birds, transform into, buck, elk, something, bear, some coyotes. Sure. Yeah. And wolves. So many transformations are believed to happen. We've covered stories where somebody saw these 2 harpy-like things up in the trees, and then they threw a rock and hit one of them, and the next day there's these older ladies that lived in the neighborhood, and one of them was limping.
Right.
And they were very secluded old people. They didn't talk to anybody ever.
Was that one of the La Lorna?
Yes, that was La Lorna.
Yep. La Lorna, yeah.
Yep, that was La Lorna. Good memory. I can't remember names to save my life, but people have had these stories of transformations, and this one sounds, at least on the surface, like it could be something like that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If it was, and I've thought that about these very few reports that I've ever heard. One of which was a caller that called in and talked about seeing a Dogman that had clothes on. And now that's the second time I've heard it personally. The first time was from Chris and Cherie Geo. They saw one of those.
What? When?
They were over in Washington when they were driving from Spokane back to their house, and they were by an overpass kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And on the exit ramp that they had to go on was this man. It looked like a homeless man, kind of haggard. But as they drove, and they were slowing, and they drove by him, he was all full of hair and looked like a dog, like a wolf kind of face.
Wow.
And he was wearing clothes.
I've never heard that story.
Yeah, they shared it on my show one time when they were guests here on the show, but you weren't on that night, so.
Yeah, I haven't been on a show with Chris and Cherie since episode 100.
Oh, right.
That was a long time ago.
I know. I remember when 100 was a real benchmark. It was like, ooh, we've done 100 episodes. Now we're on over 700.
We're like,
we should have had something for the 500, shouldn't we?
We did. We drank. Oh no, that was 500 subscriptions. We drank a beer.
Yeah, that's right. We did drink when we had 500 subscribers. We'll have to do something for the 10,000 subscriber mark when we get there.
Yeah,
we've got a ways to go yet, though, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're trying to make grow. Is that the bell?
I believe so.
It's the bell. Last break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. Don't go away. I will be anxiously awaiting our return. Will you? All right, we'll be right back.
That's good.
And welcome back, everybody. Last half hour of the show is here, so we are on the home stretch of the Paranormal Portal tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry I ran the credits a little early, but the buttons are so close to each other, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, press. I didn't really.
Brent pickle finger.
I pickle fingered it. So just for the record, the show is not yet over. But if you needed to leave early, you have an excused absence since I screwed that up. But we'd love it if you stayed for the final half hour of our journey here tonight. We've got more to do, more to get into. Right, Don?
Certainly.
So we've been talking about lots of different encounters with a lot of dogmen stuff tonight and alleged dogmen stuff tonight. I don't know that all of it is. I think some of it is. This one sounds kind of cool.
Oh.
Night of the Michigan Dogman Attack.
Oh.
So this is coming from Big Bass Lake, Michigan, MI. So Big Bass Lake, mi.wordpress.com. Yeah, you got to be real careful with that one.
Don't drop that B.
Yeah, I got to keep it all as family friendly as I can, for sure. But this is what I like about this story is it's not on your usual, paranormal sites. I like that it's listed on it looks like a fishing lake site, but they're talking about a dogman encounter here. So it's a very quick story. Shouldn't take too long. We're going to get into this right now. Have a Morty toe.
I have no idea what that means.
Well, he was talking about pickle Rick finger before because I said I pickle fingered it. So
right.
They said, do I have a Morty toe? He says, I have a Morty toe. Okay. All right. I got it. Good one. Okay, let's continue on. It says, okay, yeah, that is the beginning. It just kind of starts abruptly. The Hoffman Estates Boys Club kids were just past the tree farm down the Bloody Antler Trail when they heard a blood-curdling growl. In the tree farm behind us, we saw a figure running across the meadow. It appeared to be a human body, but with a grotesque head. I had heard tell of the stories of the Michigan Dogman, and perhaps that is what we were all seeing. He suddenly stopped in his tracks and glared at us, even though we were about 70 yards away. He looked skyward and screamed in agony, sending the boys close around me. Then he came forth in almost a charge, and before we knew it, he was in front of us. A strange dog-like head was what we took in, and two older boys picked up large branch to hold it off, but he shook those branches aside as if they were just toothpicks. I moved forward to protect the boys, and the thing shoved me to the ground as if I were nothing, and before I knew it, shirts were being torn asunder and screams... What the hell am I reading? This sounds like fiction. Screams filled the air. I grabbed the creature from behind, and he shook me loose in no time flat and set upon the older boys again. By now, it was evident that we had encountered the dogman, and his head was very visible to us. It acted as if it were insane. The creature ignored the smaller boys and continued his assault on both me and the two older boys. One boy he flung 10 feet through the air, and the smaller kids went to his side to assist and protect him. Throughout the attack, the dogman shrieked that blood-curdling howl as if it were wounded. After about 10 minutes, which seemed like an hour, it moved off without giving us any more due attention. The next thing I knew, I was getting myself off the ground from my tent in full perspiration. What a nightmare that was. Oh, you jerks.
God dang it.
Oh, what a douchey thing.
Got drug in.
I got suckered into that one, didn't I?
Fish on. Yeah, I was kind of like, what is this?
Yeah, well, it was just too much. It was just like, 10 minutes. And it just managed to swipe a few sticks away.
Yeah, and they jumped on. He jumped on its back. I'm like, bull. Those little kids would be running through the forest going, oh my God.
Well, there you have it.
Or
yeah,
at least I would be.
I know I would have been. I'd been like,
I'll admit it.
I'm faster than these kids. Good.
There, you got a knee.
I have the gift of longer legs. I won't be hit tonight. Oh, no. But it is pretty creepy. But it's only a dream. It's only a fictional story. I was pretty sure it was when we started getting into it. It's like, oh, come on. So I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. I got suckered. I got suckered. It's my fault, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I hope I read it well. No, I'm not reading this. This is, what the hell is this?
What the hell is a chicken man, Rick?
A chicken man?
Yeah, it
Oh, I've
says,
heard
are
that.
you ever going to cover chicken man? I hear he's everywhere.
I've heard that word before, though.
Chicken man.
I don't know if I...
That reminds me of that stupid video of the kung fu guy who's throwing chickens at the baker. Chicken man.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so this is The Sun, which is another fine representation of that journalistic integrity that they have over there at The Sun UK.
It was the Daily Mail, page 7.
Oh, the Daily Mail?
Yeah, it just popped in my head.
Okay, well, I'm glad you got that sorted.
Yeah.
So this is thesun.co.uk, and it says, Beast Alert, what is Dogman, and how many claimed sightings have there been of the mythical wolf predator? And the beast has been spotted in 38 of 50 U.S. states, and sightings have been reported from Norway to Brazil. Social media is in a wash with speculation that a mythical dog-human hybrid has been shot in Montana. That was the one that was sitting on the tailgate.
Right.
Then it wasn't. It was just some wolf. But it says, what is the Dogman and how many sightings have there been? The beast has been spotted in 38 of 50 states, and sightings have been reported from Norway to Brazil. According to myth, most Dogmen have canine-like legs, but around 5% look like large muscular humans with dog heads. Despite a vast number of sightings, Dogman attacks are thought to be relatively rare. Well, yeah. Dogman researcher Vic Hundiff said, less than 1% of the eyewitnesses who have shared their encounters with me claim to have been attacked by the Dogman they encountered, which is really good because these things are, I mean, my God. You know, if they really wanted to kill us, there wouldn't be a whole lot we could do. And it says, was one killed in Montana? Some experts believe a Dogman was killed in Montana this week, which it wasn't. That was the one where the pictures all over social media of this wolf on a tailgate.
Right.
And it's a scrubby looking wolf, I'll give it that, but it's certainly not a Dogman. While characteristics could match a wolf's, the ears appear too small and the legs and body too short for that of a common wolf. Which, then why would they think it was a Dogman if it's so much shorter? I mean, that's kind of the opposite direction we're supposed to be going here.
It was a pup man.
Yeah, it was a pup man. All right. Several people report being strong-armed into keeping quiet about their reports of by men wearing black suits.
Oh.
These are just facts. Look into it if you don't believe it. That was the whole article, and that was probably a colossal waste of time, but I covered it anyway. Here's one. This is a longer one. I should be able to. Yeah, I can read this. It's coming from the Okefenokee Swamp, and it has to do with a Bigfoot attack. And it's not Dogman, but this is all about cryptids, and certainly Bigfoot fall into that genus. I'm just blowing it up because it's very small print.
Falls into that genius.
No, genus.
Oh,
genus, not genius. I won't be having any
I
disparaging.
have to try something. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Chicken man, chicken man, chicken man, chicken man, chicken man.
Okay.
Somebody said if you say chicken man 5 times, you get a 5-piece bucket pops up.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck with all that.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Didn't work.
Bigfoot attack in the Okefenokee swamp of Georgia, 1829. A 19th century Bigfoot attack? Did a Bigfoot really attack a party of men in the Okefenokee swamp in 1829, or was it all just a tall tale? Yeah. The pun, yeah. The answer to those questions may never be known, but the story is one of many that adds to the mystery of the swamp. The tale originated near the south end of Ware County, where the line that divides Georgia from Florida passes through the Okefenokee. In 1829, the first settlers were just pushing into the fringes of the swamp. Surrounded by the stunning beauty of the swamp, they quickly picked up on an Indian legend that held a mysterious race of people lived on an island deep in the wilderness. So, as far as is known, the legend first appeared in print in 1806 in Jedediah Morse's book, Geography Made Easy. I love that title. In this section on Georgia, Morse repeated the legend that a group of Indian hunters had gone into the swamp and had become lost. When they were in desperate condition, a party of the most beautiful women they had ever seen came to their rescue. Wow, that doesn't sound so horrible.
Sounds like Elysius.
They, being lost in inextricable swamps and bogs on the point of perishing, were unexpectedly relived. It says relived, relived, by a company of beautiful women whom they called Daughters of the Sun, who kindly gave them such provisions as they had with them, consisting of fruit and corn cakes. The tale is repeated by Morse's continued with the women warning the hunters to flee as fast as possible to their own country because their husbands were fierce men and cruel to strangers. These men of the swamp were said by the Creek Indians to be of gigantic stature and both cruel and warlike. The winter of 1829 was extremely dry, and two men living in the edges of the swamp decided to explore as deep into it as they could. Accompanied by a boy, they went into the Okefenokee and, over a course of 2 weeks, continued to penetrate deeper and deeper into it. As they explored the very heart of the swamp, they made a startling discovery of gigantic footprints. The length of the foot was 18 and the breadth 9 inches. The monster, from every appearance, must have moved forward in an easy or hesitating gait, his stride from heel to toe being a trifle over 6 feet. Wow, that's a hell of a stride. The men, as newspapers of the time noted, had seen enough, ending their expedition and retreating out of the swamp. They related to their friends and neighbors what they had seen, and the story excited the curiosity of a party of hunters who lived just across the Florida line. 9 in number, they went into the swamp to find the mysterious giant. They were guided by one of the members of the original party, and following for some days the direction of their guide, they came at length upon the track first discovered, some vestiges of which were still remaining. Pursuing these traces several days longer, they came to a halt on a little eminence and determined to pitch their camp and refresh themselves for the day. The expedition was described in detail in newspaper reports published in February 1829. These accounts indicated that as the hunters were discharging their guns to reload them with fresh powder for the night, a wild animal charged their camp. The next minute he was full in their view, advancing upon them with a terrible look and ferocious, I don't know what M-I-E-N is. Mine? Okay.
A ferocious mien.
Mean. What does that mean? What's a mean?
A look.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
A glare, a look.
All right. So we had a ferocious mien, M-I-E-N. Our little band instinctively gathered close in a body and presented their rifles. The huge being, nothing daunted, bounded upon his victims and in the same instant received the contents of 7 rifles. The fight, however, did not end there. He did not fall alone, nor until he had glutted his wrath with the death of 5 of them, which he effected by wringing the head from the body. Writhing and exhausted at length, he fell with his hapless prey beneath his grasp. As the creature lay dying on the ground, writhing and sometimes roaring, the men who survived the attack gathered around it to make closer inspection. The creature was found to measure 13 feet from head to toe, and his breadth and volume of just proportions. Immediately fearful that the dying monster's cries may have attracted others of its kind, the hunters fled into the swamp. The men who died in the battle with their creature were left lying where they had fallen. It is a remarkable story, but could it be true? The honest answer is that no one knows. The newspaper correspondent who reported it wrote that the people living in Ware County on the margins of the Okefenokee swamp clearly believed it. Either way, the story of the 1829 attack was one of the earliest written accounts of the creature we know today as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Sightings of some kind of a large creature in the swamp and discoveries of large footprints continue to be reported from this area to this day. To learn about others, then there's links about the Arkansas wild man and the wild man of the Ochese Pond in Florida. Huh. That is wild, huh? What do you think of that?
That's those old stories are really interesting. Duke said something about he went and investigated that. Is that what Duke said? And
I don't know. I wasn't seeing what Duke said.
I only caught a little bit of it.
Well, you know what's funny is that in those older stories, and there's several of them like that, where people are encountering these wild men that they called them. They called them wild men. And these are, basically the Bigfoot that we understand today.
Right,
but
right.
when they did kill people, and these stories have this in several different areas, but it's hard to know if it's something that was borrowed or not, but
Right.
from other stories. But the popping off of heads is a real big one.
Yeah.
Like literally, that seems to be the way that they quickly kill people, is that they literally tear their heads off. And when you look at the strength, I mean, it would literally be like popping a daisy, for these things, with the amount of just sheer force and power that they would have. There would be little to no resistance our little bodies could offer to that kind of a force. They literally could just pop our heads off, just like, boom, done.
And Mama had a baby and it hit.
Jeez. Yeah, but that is consistent, at least, from a few of these stories that I've heard through the years. Duke, of course, would be a much better expert about that. Newspapers' reports of this were reported as far away as Indiana. Very cool.
Would that be Erie, Indiana?
Well, it'd definitely be eerie. Just looking.
He's on the phone.
Oh, is he? Well,
He's on the phone.
That's a great way to get the answer. Hey, Duke, tell us about this deal.
Hey guys.
Hey, brother. So, what do you think?
Figured since you were covering the Okefenokee encounter 1828, I'd call in, weigh in on it. I did a bunch of research.
Please, yeah, we'd love to hear.
The
what
reason
you
I
got to
did
say.
research on it is because there's another one like 30 years later that's really famous, where a cavalry officer north of there got into a fight with a pile of Bigfoot, and that one had been going around for years, and I was investigating that, and come to find out that the trail on that one led back to a children's book writer. That
Oh,
is recent, probably taken a story from the Iowa tribe on the opposite.
your phone's going in and out.
Modified it.
Your phone's really going in and out.
Oh.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
A little bit, maybe. I hope so.
Okay. Well, let me know if the signal's bad. I can walk over to the other side.
Yeah, try walking over to the other side
Oh.
because it's still dropping. It's like in and out, in and out, in and out.
Should have signal over here, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sorry about the delay.
Yeah. No worries. No worries at all. We get all the time you need.
So anyway, like I said, I investigated that. Can you be better now?
Yeah, I think so. It only dropped out once now, so we're doing a little better.
Trying to get closer to where there's a visual line to the tower here.
Okay.
On the line, having signal.
Yeah, it's
The other story was up in Oklahoma, and that was on the eastern side of Oklahoma. And like I said, when I went and investigated it, it seemed like the story had originated with a children's book writer.
Oh, okay.
Who, I talked to Bear about, and Bear actually knew who the guy was. Said, yeah, that was I'd gotten the story from
So
the Iowa tribe on the opposite side of the state, and modified it to be with the tribe on the eastern side of the state.
Yeah. Your phone's really screwing up, brother. I'm sorry. I'd love to hear this though, because it's so perfect, and that you've actually looked into this. But it's just dropping in and out, in and out, in and out.
Okay, I'll go smash my phone. I'll come on your show sometime. We'll tell the rest of the story.
Yes, please. We'd love to have you on, brother. Just let me know when. We'll make it happen.
Okay.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Okay,
Bye.
we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's tough. Cell phones up here in the mountains, it's anybody's guess whether you're going to get a signal at any time. And I know there's, even in this area, which is less mountainous than where Duke is, but sometimes you got to go to certain parts of your house to have a conversation. It's just the joy of the living up in the hills. So we're down to about 6 minutes, but what I wanted to know is, I wonder if that it was traced back to a children's book author.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah.
So is that credibility, or is that does that debunk it? I'm not sure what that means for sure, but we'll get Duke on the show and he can tell us about that.
There you go. Yeah, because I was going to give my opinion, but
Yeah,
I'll
please
wait.
do.
I'll wait.
Well, you can do that too. This one is a collection of several different encounters of Bigfoot attacking. We only got about 6 minutes left, so I'll get through as many of these as we can. But this is from liveabout.com, and it talks about the 1902 Chesterfield, Idaho. This is right in our neck of the woods, right? Chesterfield?
Oh, it's Idaho.
Idaho. Well, it's in the state anyway.
I'm not quite exactly sure where that would be. So.
A group of people enjoying a winter's day skating were suddenly terrorized by a hairy monster brandishing a wooden club. The witnesses said the creature stood about 8 feet tall. Later, 4-toed footprints were found that measured 22 inches long and 7 inches wide. Bigfoot indeed. No one was injured in the attack. This one comes from New South Wales, Australia in 1912. And this is a surveyor named James Harper was camping with several colleagues on Curragh Billy Mountain. And one evening as the men sat around their campfire, sat around their campfire, they became increasingly unnerved by the strange sounds they heard coming from the woods. To help allay their fears, they piled more wood on the fire. The increased light revealed that something unexpected had invaded their camp. A huge man-like animal stood erect not 20 yards from the fire, growling. Harper later told a newspaper and thumping his breast with his huge hand-like paws. Harper estimated that the creature stood about 5'8" to 5'10" inches tall. That's not very big. And was covered with long brownish red hair, which shook with every quivering movement of his body. To say the least, the men were terrified, and one even fainted. For several minutes, the creature continued to growl and make threatening gestures at the men, and then turned and disappeared into the forest dark. 1924, Ape Canyon. This is very paraphrased. Fred Beck and several of the prospectors were puzzled by large footprints they found in the canyon until they encountered the beast that made them, and they saw a large ape-like creature peering from behind a tree, watching them. One of the miners leveled his rifle at the creature, shot, and possibly grazed it in the head. It ran off out of sight, and later another creature was seen by Beck. As it stood on the edge of a canyon wall, Beck shot it in the back. It fell irretrievably into the canyon, and these acts of violence by the humans was not to go unavenged by the Sasquatch. That night, the miner's cabin was attacked by at least 2 of the primates for 5 hours. They pounded on the door walls and hurled rocks onto the roof in an attempt to break in. Fortunately, the windowless cabin built to withstand harsh winters kept the Sasquatch from entering. As dawn approached, the creatures abandoned their assault. When the miners finally ventured outside, they found numerous Bigfoot prints all around the cabin and a strip of wood gouged out from between the logs. There was some evidence that this attack may have been a hoax, while others contend that it is absolutely true. 1924, Vancouver, British Columbia. Albert Osman. Oh, we've done that one before.
Osman, yeah.
I'm going to skip that one because we've done that whole...
Yeah, you can go back and see that one. It was a night terrors or a bedtime story.
Bedtime Stories from Beyond. I did the Albert Osman account. Check it out. It's in the archives. Let me look at the clock here. 2 minutes. That's about it then. 2 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to take the time and just tell you how much you mean to me. You mean a lot. Okay, thank you guys.
See ya. Bye.
No, it's wonderful, guys. We're about done for the night. I will be back tomorrow night with the Night Terrors. Of course, Don will not be coming back this next Wednesday.
No, I won't be.
But you will be the following Saturday, right?
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, it's just Wednesday. I won't be here.
Okay, so we'll drag Don back in, kicking and screaming if we have to.
No, I wanna.
Yeah, good. That's the way it should be. But again, I'm going to take Monday and Tuesday off, so I'll miss you. But just know that it's for the good of the portal. And stick around after the show. Paisley Wild's coming up next with The Spaces Between. So there's still a lot of great entertainment to be had tonight, so don't go away. Let's see. Don, anything in closing?
No. Other than the new design for the new T-shirt.
Oh, is it up?
It will be out in a day or two.
Okay.
I'll work on it tomorrow. I'll probably get it up tomorrow. So
okay. So check the Teespring site for the new T-shirt design. I like it personally. I think it's pretty cool. But you know, it's just some of that portal ingenuity we got going on here.
Yeah.
We're ingenuity as we can be. We're ingenuitying.
Oh boy,
I don't even know how that works. But anyway,
it probably doesn't.
good to see all you guys in the TFR chat room. Thank you guys for coming in. Ruthie, AJ, Bam, and Lucky. Great to see you guys. And to all of you, 86 of you on YouTube.
Wow.
Love you all. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
I do. And no, we don't love you to the 2 thumbs down. The trolls. We don't love you.
All right. Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. We'll meet you back here then.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Roll the credits.